Here's the herd hierarchy.
Herd hierarchy.
Time is now. Let's go.
The top 10 NFL teams according to Colin. Number 10.
I don't care about records. The Indianapolis Colts are one of the 10 best teams in the league. Andrew Luck's on pace to shatter every record he's ever had. Right now, they're incredibly well coached. They've got limitations on the back end of that defense. They're not great defensively. But I tell you what, they hit a home run in the last 2 drafts. They've shored up their offensive line. Andrew Luck has attempted 214 straight passes without being sacked. You give Andrew Luck this kind of line, they have a decent, not great running game. Again, this is a team with holes, but you can't tell me there are 10 teams in the league. Did you see what they did to Tennessee this week? That thing wasn't competitive for 8 minutes. Tennessee out, Colts at 10. Houston Texans. I never truly trust them, but they are the first team since the 1925 Giants to go 0-3 and win 7 straight. And I think it's the Deshaun Watson story. Listen, Clemson was a really good football program forever. Deshaun Watson made them great. Houston's been a really talented team forever, and he's making them really good. Deshaun Watson is a unique, a little bit of Russell Wilson, a little Steve Young, a little this, a little that, a little Carson Wentz. And their defense, for the record, is now playing good. They've always had big names, but their defense is allowing, since week 5, about 17 a game. So we know the J.J. Watt. We know the defensive players. Now they're playing well. Texans at 9. Dallas Cowboys, 1 slot ahead, just because I like their running game. The recipe's real simple on Dallas. They're 5-0 this year when Dak doesn't have a turnover, and they're 4-1 this year when Zeke runs for over 100 yards. Now, they've got to play with this formula. They're not great usually at playing from behind. They're a little like Carolina. But I don't get quite the roller coaster with Dak that I do Cam. Dak can be pretty good and below average. Cam can give me great and not. This is kind of the Carolina Panthers. They're not as good at quarterback, but they're a better running team. And I'm going to put the Cowboys for now at 8. Chargers are better than the Cowboys. Phillip Rivers, by the way, did not play well Sunday, but he's the only player in the league with multiple touchdown passes in every game this season. And he's the only quarterback who's had a 90-plus passer rating in every game this season minimum. So he just didn't play well Sunday. But they're very good defensively. First in the league since week 5 in defense, points per game. Again, they don't have a home field advantage. They're not good enough on special teams. Phillip Rivers makes too many mistakes 2 or 3 times a year. I don't think they can win the Super Bowl. I don't think they can go to a Kansas City, go to a New England, go to a Pittsburgh and win. I'm not sure they can go to Houston and win, but they are, in my opinion, the 7th best team in the NFL. Chicago Bears. The Bears are not as talented as the Chargers. They're not. But they don't make the mistakes the Chargers do. And I trust their kicker more. They've got the league's best turnover differential at plus 13. And they're the only team ranked in the top 5 in scoring defense, total defense, and takeaways. Listen, this is a team with 2 stories. It's a very good defense with a superstar defensive player, Khalil Mack. And it is the most clever offense. I mean, listen, I love Andy Reid, Sean Payton, and Sean McVay. They got something to work with. Trubisky is a marginal talent, and even their dive plays are spectacular to watch. Bears at 6. I'll put New England 1 spot ahead of Chicago because they beat Chicago in Chicago. Now, fewest penalties in the league, fewest penalty yards in the league. They don't turn it over. Listen, Tom Brady is not having a great year for Brady standards. Now, a lot of this is Gronk. He's on the last year. It's over. Their rookie running back, Sony Michel, has been hurt half the year. Edelman's off an ACL. Josh Gordon pretty much disappeared for 5 years. I don't think Brady's working with a ton here. They're rebuilding the left tackle and the offensive line. I think Tom's still great if you give him weapons. But I always say the final 4 teams in my herd hierarchy feel like Super Bowl winning teams. So Patriots 5. Rams are 4. Listen, I love the Rams. But I took the Chiefs and the points last night, blazing 5 out of winning week. Here's my problem with the Rams. Not only is their offense a home run offense, their defense is a home run defense. I mean, they'll get the sacks, they'll get the picks, they'll get the touchdowns. But man, is there a defense this talented that gets burned as badly and as often as the Rams do? I mean, their last 3 wins are by a combined 10 points. As good as that coaching and offense is, they just get gashed over the top where there's not a corner for 15 yards a lot. Rams at 4. I think the Chiefs are a better team, even though they lost. I think if you'd have gone to Kansas City or a neutral field and Kansas City wins that game by more than a field goal, Rams won by a field goal and dominated the first 10 minutes of the game, got some officiating breaks. I think Kansas City's loaded. Now, again, Patrick Mahomes has got a little Brett Favre where he's going to drive you crazy and you're going to fall in love with him. And you're going to win a lot of fantasy pools with him, and he's going to set records, and he's going to win multiple MVPs, and he's going to lose some big games for you. But I got the Chiefs at 3. Pittsburgh Steelers. I picked them to win the Super Bowl, lead the NFL in sacks. About a month ago, 5 weeks ago, they played Atlanta. And it was at that moment they flipped a switch defensively and solved their issues. Massive pass. They have great line play, a Hall of Fame quarterback, superstar receiver. Listen, I think they'd be better with Le'Veon Bell. I just do. But James Conner is so good, it allows them to get rid of the noise of Le'Veon Bell and the headaches. Steelers at 2. I mean, first team in the Super Bowl era to score 40-plus points in 6 of their first 10 games, the Saints. We had the Saints number 1, was it 3 or 4 weeks ago? They're special. What can you say? You get all the dynamic stuff with no turnovers. I mean, Drew Brees has 1 turnover all year. I get great coaching. I get dynamic running, over-the-top offense. I get everything. Oh, by the way, I do believe right now, if their offensive line's not the best in the league, it's top 3. You can't run on them. Very little. Now, back into that defense, they may give up some cheap touchdowns. That's their flaw. You can take them deep. Other than that, looks like to me the best team in the league. Don't see anybody going to the Superdome and beating them. Maybe in a Super Bowl, but not the Superdome.